Good morning. This is Pierre Laguerre here, your daily motivator. And today on episode 360, as always, I'm here to challenge, inspire, and motivate you. And today we're going to talk about your morning routine. Yes, here we go again. I'm actually going to pick out one of the steps in my 6 steps to rock your morning routine. And we're going to talk about it. And the first step, in no particular order, that I want to talk to you about today is reading. Well, it is well known that leaders are readers. And if you're not reading, you are not leading. In other words, there's a lot of information, especially in this age of information that we're living in. And frankly, I know it's more than the age of information. It is the age, believe it or not even transformation, although that's what everybody's looking for, is the age of attention. So when it comes to reading, you have to pay attention to what you're reading. And what I want to tell you is this. If you're not reading, it's going to be tough for you to lead because there's a lot of information coming at you. And again, everybody's trying to gain your attention. So you've got to focus on what you're reading. So first, let me start by saying I do have a free ebook for you when you listen to this. It's called not 6 steps, but rather the Successful Entrepreneur's Morning Routine. The Successful Entrepreneur's Morning Routine is a book that I wrote almost 2 years ago with my wife's help to really summarize 6 key steps you need to take every day to rock your day and to really start your day with a great morning routine. So let me ask you, do you have a morning routine right now? What do you do when it comes to your morning routine? When you get up out of bed, what's the first thing you do? Well, let me share with you the first thing I usually do. And it is this: get up and make my bed. Why? Because I want to come back the next night or that same night with a bed that's already made. And frankly, I want to do something. I want to start the day by actually achieving the smallest single step that I can take. And frankly, if you think with me, the smallest single step you can take, even before you brush your teeth, you're putting on your sandals and you turn and you get off the bed, make the bed. That's your first tip for the day. But here it is. After you've made your bed, there's got to be some key things that are important to you. And I know some of you are thinking about the time you take to reflect on the day that you're going to have. And I've got a whole lot more to share with you here, but I would absolutely challenge you to think about your next day the day before, because interestingly enough, in your dreams, you'll come up with ideas on how to solve certain problems. But anyway, let's go with this step, reading. Are you a reader? Are you spending time at all reading daily? And you may say to me, Pierre, I don't have time to read. I don't have time to go out there and read books. Man, I get up and I got to go to work. I get up and I barely have enough time to take care of the kids, pack them some lunch to go to school, and ultimately get out of the house. Well, I'm going to challenge you because what I'm going to say to you may not sit well with you, but what I'm going to tell you is this: if you want to change your current circumstances, you're going to have to become a reader. Now, I'm not speaking from what you ought to do. I'm speaking about what I'm doing, which carries a whole lot more power because I'm speaking from a place of conviction. You see, my mother was an educator in Haiti. She was a teacher. And what she taught me was, besides learning all kinds of things, reading opens you up. It opens you up to other people's experiences and their wisdom. Let me repeat that. Reading will open you up to other people's experiences and their wisdom. So you don't have to sit there and think to yourself, well, what is that going to amount to? Even if it's a reference book, somebody took the time to put down that information. Now, if it's something about history, it's a book about somebody else, I'm going to tell you this. Somebody took the time to write it. And even in fiction, you could actually learn something from somebody else that took the time to write the fiction. Unless it's some trashy book. I don't recommend you spend time reading those trashy books. Because again, you need to do what? Exercise your mind. Your mind is literally the greatest gift that God has given you, and you need to take the time to renew your mind. There are things you want to learn, and in reading, it's going to bring things to you as far as ideas. Reading can also bring you face to face with memories that you've had and will challenge even things that you know. Reading will expose you again to other people's experiences and their wisdom. And what is a better way to get wisdom than to pay for it through somebody else's experience, than instead of actually having to experiment on your own and having to pay for it that way? I mean, come on. Do you want to go through and experiment 9,000 plus times to generate your own light bulb? Or would you rather just flip a switch and take advantage of the wisdom of Thomas Edison? Because the experiences and wisdom of Thomas Edison was that on one side he discovered how to make the light bulb work. And thank God for that. Look, you are living in a world full of light. So here's the point. I want you to actually step aside and set aside time for your reading. You see, your routine every morning ought to include some kind of reading. Reading is essential because if you're going to lead, you're going to have to read. And not just the news, but you're going to have to read some books. You're going to have to find out things about the process. That's my phone falling on my iPad. You're going to have to find books, rather, on the process. You're going to have to understand there's so much more that you'll be exposed to. So I'm inviting you, actually, to get on your Kindle, if that's what you're using. Go to Barnes & Noble's, Amazon. There's so many books that are available to you. Now, when I lived in New Jersey, I always had at least one library in my house. And I can tell you one thing, my kids are used to having lots of books around the house. I had one library in my son's room, what became my son's room eventually, and I had another library downstairs in my basement. So I'm telling you, your shelves are full of wisdom, and you need to set time to read it. On my iPad, my Kindle reader, I have over 360 books. I'm getting close to 400. And you know what? They're not all reference books. A lot of them I've completely read through them and reread them. And here's a tip for you. When you read, pull up a notepad. It could be on the computer or it could be pen and paper. And take notes on the book that you're reading. Now let me give you, again, some more tips. Maybe you're saying, I don't have time to read. How much could I read in 1 year, Pierre, if I set time aside to read? Well, let's think about it this way. If you were to set aside, let's say 15 minutes a day to read something, understand that you could read 10 pages easily in 15 minutes. That's 3,650 pages per year. Now, the average book has about 200 pages, a good book. Now, take that 3,600 pages, divided into 200. At the minimum, you're reading 18 books a year. And you're probably saying to yourself, I don't even read one book a month. No, just 10 pages a day. That's all you need to read. Now, listen, for me, I usually read through the Bible in 90 to 180 days. That is 3 to 6 months. And even right now, I'm reading through it in Spanish. But that's not the only thing I'm reading. I'm reading other books alongside my Bible, because the important thing is that I'm renewing my mind daily. And I'm going to challenge you as your daily motivator to get in a book and start reading. And besides, if you want to write and you're not reading, you're not necessarily seeing things from other people's perspective. You're not necessarily seeing other styles of writing, because when you read other people, you get exposed to different styles of writing as well. And for me, I'm telling you, as I'm writing my next book right now, it's great because I'm exposed to so much. I'm doing research as well. And I'm inviting you, if you want to write your own book, I do have a group for that called the Authority Granted group on Facebook. You can ask to join that. But more importantly, what I have for you today is a freebie. It's a click on the link that's with this podcast, and I'm going to send you for free my ebook. It's a $10 value, and it's basically called the Successful Entrepreneur's Morning Routine. It does include one of the 6 steps as reading. One of the 6 steps included in there is reading. Exactly. I'm going to talk to you about why you should read every morning. And I'm serious. If you read every morning, very soon you're going to become a leader in your field. You're going to become the expert. And ultimately, if you really want to become the expert, start writing your own book. So again, this is Pierre Laguerre, your daily motivator, here always to challenge, inspire, and motivate you. And I hope this morning I challenge you to pick up where you left off in your last book and to start reading, because you are a leader and leaders are readers. I'll catch you on the next episode. Have a great day.